Alright, so I went ahead, made a buck using a couple pieces of plywood and a sheet of stainless steel. Cut myself a couple of blanks, which are, you know, ½ inch bigger all the way around. And I pounded out the first one. Turned out pretty good. Fits fairly decent. I'm going to have to do some forming and beating to get it into place, but it's going to work. Took about say 20 minutes to beat this thing out. I'm going to beat the next one out, put one in and weld it, and show you. Drawback to doing a buck this way is you have to peel the plywood out of the piece that you've made, distorting it a little bit. I'm using a chisel and some screwdrivers, exactly the inappropriate way to use them, but it is what it is. So full disclosure, not everything's perfect. I got the other side on really good, went on really easy, but I must have made this side of the tank a slightly different fit because it's just a little bit too small to get in over there. So what I'm going to do is take that teardrop hammer there and a sandbag and beat the shit out of that and stretch it out a little bit and then weld it on. Alright, so I've got the end caps welded on. I did get some distorting in the top of the tank. It's pretty close. So the next step is I'm going to go find myself some plugs, plug up the holes, and see how many leaks I've got. So, I've come out into the world with my mobile work surface, braving the COVID, getting some vitamin D. I'm looking at certain imminent internet failure to test this thing out. All right, so we're full, almost to the brim there, and I do have one little leak. Oh. What's that? Maybe two. So I had a couple, 2-3 leaks. I went ahead and welded them up. And everything seems to be holding now. I do have a little bit of moisture coming out of there, but that's not an actual leak. So I think I'm going to put a little pressure via mouth on that hose. I'm not going to show you guys because it's pornographic and that's not what this video was about. Alright, so I'd like to talk a minute or so about budgeting for this part of the build. Every year after the challenge there's usually a whole bunch of people who complain and whine that there's no way that you can build a car that's fast for $2,000. Well, the way that you do it, or at least one of the ways that you do it, or at least how I do it, is you budget stuff according to what you've actually used. This tank Used 18 gauge steel. It was an 8-foot by 26-inch piece, and if you do the math, it ended up costing 0.10802 cents per square inch. Now, left over off of that piece after making this tank, I've got 597 square inches, which works out to about $10.70 of unused steel. So I've got 34 bucks of steel into this tank. Now, I used 7 welding rods. They start out at 36 inches long, and I've left over off of those 7 pieces are these chunks, which is about 40 inches. And my welding rod costs a little less than 1 cent per inch, but I'm going to round it up because I don't feel like doing any more math, as much as I love math. So I've got $2.11 in welding rods into this. Now, when I bought the fuel pump the other day that I was going to use for this project, I grabbed a bunch of lines with it. Now, the lines are pretty much what I used to make the return lines, and the vent came off the original tank. And then this piece of black pipe right here was a dumpster find. It's a piece of black fencing material that was thrown out. I'm in construction, so I see a lot of dumpsters. And that one was free. So in order to build this, I've got $39.34 into building this tank. Ultimately, I'm going to have a little bit more because I plan on putting a sending unit in it. I probably will not actually put the sending unit in, but I'll cut the hole for it and build a cap. That way, I think the sending unit I bought online was about 20 bucks. That 20 bucks will stay out of my budget. 20 bucks works out to roughly 1% of your budget, depending on how much you've sold off your car. And anything you can do to keep it off your budget as early as possible, you do it, because you can't go back after you've built the car and try and find a couple of cents here and a couple of pennies there if you haven't already done your math and thought this out ahead of time. So this is basically what I'm doing. Yeah, I hope this has motivated you to get out and do a little bit of work on your car. Hopefully you're not taking a 4-inch grinder to your daily driver and you're out there working on the car that's on the side of your house or in your front yard that's pissing your neighbors off. Get that damn thing running and get it on the road. And the challenge is coming up quick. Hope to see all you soon.